Hi, everybody. I'm John Self. Welcome to Lunch and Learn. Delighted you're with us today. Running a few minutes late, and so things are kind of a little bit crazy here. I was on a call with something really exciting we're beginning to do. Uh, I have noticed and had a lot of feedback from various clients that they're worried about ageism. Legally, ageism begins at age 45. That's when it qualifies under the law through whenever. Okay. And people are worrying about now that there are fewer jobs, now that there are fewer jobs, now that there are fewer jobs, they're going to be more intense competition for the for what's available. I had a personal experience several years ago, gosh, 2021. I was up to do an executive search in a beautiful hospital in the Southwest United States. I knew the CEO, I knew the area really well, and the board chairman said, "You've got a great product. We've heard a lot about you, and we've got some of the big firms in here, but clearly you are different. You're special." So I went in to the full board, and there were two or three doctors on the board, and one of them said, "What happens if you die?" It's like, "Holy, what are you talking about? What happens when I die?" And he said, "You don't look healthy. You're overweight and you're limping. And we just worry." And I said, "I've got plenty of support. That's not going to happen. But if I do, I've got plenty of coverage." I did not get the deal. And that's the first time in my life that I understood that I was being discriminated against because of the way I looked, my health. I was overweight, and 11 months later, I had open heart surgery. Okay. So the doctor knew what he was talking about clearly. But the point I want to make to you is that going forward, if you are obese, if you don't look good, if you don't look like you have a lot of energy, if your necktie, you're trying to scoot the knot up on your necktie, or you're holding a button extender, if you're, with a blouse on for women and all sorts of things, or if your jacket's too tight, that's going to play against you. Why? Because there are a lot more people out there looking for jobs at the management executive level than there are jobs, and and it's going to get really competitive, and people are going to apply some standards. Is this person healthy? Do they have the energy? What happens if they continue to gain weight? What kind of liability do we have as a company with our health insurance? Well, let me tell you something. There are elements of that are illegal, but guess what? Prove it. Try to prove it. It's very, very difficult. So we're getting ready to partner with a great company in Houston. I've known this woman for years. We worked together at Herman. She was the director of dietetics and one of the really brilliant minds in that industry in Texas, Bonnie Barabee. And we are going to join with BLB to package services on our channel, on Thinkific, where we currently are based, through through johnGself.com, so that you can start getting information to help you control your weight. Now, there's a lot of bad information out there. There's a lot of people that are nutritionists that want to help you online. Let me just tell you, what defines a nutritionist varies widely, and sometimes the what qualifies you as a nutritionist is that you name yourself a nutritionist. So we'll have registered dietitians. We'll have computerized programs so that you can evaluate what you need to do to get at your playing weight. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We haven't rolled it out yet. We'll let you know in advance. We're probably going to do some great interviews with Bonnie Barabee and her colleague Sarah Boo, and they are really excited about this. And we're going to start off by offering a computerized valuation program that then can roll into online one-on-one coaching. Bonnie has had phenomenal success helping people, improve their health, improve their appearance, improve their energy level, and live what's really important, and live a happier life. Okay. So what we're going to talk about first today is that we are unveiling a new group of services and new pricing for essentials. Now, I will be the first to admit that marketing guys come up with these great ideas and they make perfect sense, and they follow along with what a lot of marketing people say is a good strategy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that our our LMS platform, Learning Management Systems, Thinkific, which is behind our website. You never really know you're there, but it just carries you there automatically, can package it the way we want to. So we may change vendors, or we may just do it a slightly different way. But what we are doing today is unveiling the prices, and then we're going to talk to you a little bit about the competition in the marketplace. So let's get started. First of all, we want to talk about where we stand. Just we have the modem switched, and so I put it back on the faster speed. If you're going to pay for it, you might as well get it automatically. So now we're up to 5G again. So thanks. Um, we're going to review our new career coaching services today. We're going to talk about the joint venture a little bit more than I just mentioned, and we're going to show you our new pricing models. So let's move on first to review the new packages. Okay, we're going to have a Masterclass Platinum. Now, this is really designed for executives and senior level executives who will probably face the most competition right now in the marketplace. I say this all the time, but I need to reestablish this. Is that there are a lot more people looking for jobs than there are available jobs. Now, hot flash. I don't care who is elected president of the United States. That ain't going to change because the president can't control food prices, and the president can't control who hires and who doesn't get hired. So this is going to be a package that's all inclusive. We'll do a lot of this stuff for you. We'll teach you how to do your resume. We can't revise your resume every time because it gets into thousands and thousands of dollars if you apply for 15, 20, or 30 jobs, because you have to customize your resume for each job. And if you're not getting callbacks now, it's because your resume is not getting scanned properly. The next package we have is Premier Go. Masterclass Platinum, everything, we stay with you until you place. Premier Go is a smaller package. It's really designed for lower level executives and managers. And it has the essential services, a 6-month deal. It's significantly less in price. Then we will be offering a la carte services. In other words, you can go to our course page. I want the course on interviewing. Okay, there's a couple of things you'll have to do before you take that course because it's integrated. But the a la carte program allows you to say, I want interviewing help, and it'll be priced based on the hours and the value and how much time we spend with you. Now we're also revamping our membership program, and we will be if you're a member, you will be getting discounted prices for all the a la carte membership. So that's how we're structuring our new program, giving you more freedom. If you're a member, giving you lower prices. And if you're a senior executive and need all the help in the world, we will be there for you. Now, the all-inclusive masterclass, this is really a comprehensive package, and it covers all the facets of a job search and the career advancement process. Now, career management is not looking for a job. Career management is about managing your brand, having a robust social media profile. Somebody says, "Look, I'm going to be a CEO of a small company. I don't need social media. That's just bad stuff. It's going to look bad." Guess what? If you want to move up in your career, you're going to not be discovered if you don't have a social media presence, because that's how the AI computers will be doing the sourcing. It's not going to be done by humans anymore. It's going to be done by AI computers that can, instead of taking weeks to find panel of candidates, it's going to do it in a matter of hours. So that's why we include that. We're going to help you put together a career plan. The research is clear. People with written career plans tend to do better than those that don't. They tend to make more money. They tend to achieve their goals. We're going to revise your resume, and then we're going to teach you how to do this on an ongoing basis, what the keywords are, how to insert those. You will then qualify also for weekly live coaching sessions like Lunch and Learn, and then Wednesday afternoons program called Office Hours. And those, as soon as we reach a certain membership goal, Office Hours will be members only. And when we reach a second level, then Lunch and Learn will also be members only. So right now they're free on the internet, but that's going to go away. If you're in the premium masterclass, you will get 6 mock interviews. Now those are about an hour, and you will get feedback. Everybody complains about not getting any feedback from the recruiters or the hiring manager. We will give you feedback. If you have a job that you're getting ready for, we can create a job scenario for you to practice with. We're going to help you develop the job search and the career plans. A lot of people slow down their job search because they don't have a plan. This is not something people do every day. So we're going to say, this is what your office schedule needs to look like. These are the things you need to be doing every day, and help you set up accountability so that you focus on the things that will help you advance your search, not busy work, but the key vital items. Also, in the masterclass, you'll get as many needed 30-minute check-in calls as that you need. Okay, if you're looking at a job and suddenly the night before you're going to be interviewed online and you want to get some advice or try a couple of answers out, you have access to me for 30 minutes, and all you have to do is just schedule it or send me a text. This is for the masterclass. Okay, we will provide you social media, and we will also provide you access to our programs until you place. Okay. So if you pay that for the masterclass, we're staying with you until you place. Now, the premier goal, it's more limited. You're revising your resume to 3 custom coaching sessions per month, not weekly. You'll have 3 mock interviews. You'll have 2 30-minute check-in calls per month. You'll have access to all of our online on-demand video courses, our live group coaching sessions, and weekly group Q&A streams, the same package that the masterclass gets, but just in smaller numbers. You'll have 6 months of coverage, and then once you run out, if you want to keep staying with us because you want help with onboarding or et cetera, you can become a member, and we'll waive the initiation fee, and it's $79 a month, and you get significant discounts to our other packages that you will buy then a la carte. So that's the premier goal. Now, here's what the pricing, jumped up twice there. Okay, here's what the packages actually look like, and this will be posted on our website as we continue to revamp this. When you start and you're in this business and you start changing things, it doesn't all happen at once. So this is a work in progress. If you have questions and you want to talk to us about, hey, I'm going to need this, what is that going to cost? If it's not up on the site, we can still take care of you, okay? If you're in the masterclass, it starts with a 45-minute orientation Q&A. We're going to tell you what to do, what we expect. Premier, we're going to do the same thing. In the membership, we'll do the same thing. A la carte, you're just going to buy services you need. But let's talk about a la carte pricing versus membership pricing. If you see the resume review, we're going to probably spend 2 to 3 sessions with you. It's going to be about $179. It will be $179. If you're a member, it's $107. Research interview for resume development, it's a $250 fee. And we will, if you're a member, it's $145. Now, what is a research interview? Most people, their resumes are not an adequate reflection of their value, and that's why they're not getting picked. Companies are not hiring experience because everybody's experienced. Companies are not hiring college degrees or credentials, certification, because most people are credentialed from good universities or colleges. They're not even hiring necessarily the people with MBAs. I saw this happen the other day. A guy thought he had the job because he was a Harvard MBA. Whoops. You know what happened? It went to the best person who did a good job communicating their value. And that person got to that stage because their resume spoke specifically to the volume that the client was looking for, the value the client was looking for. So most people come into interviews and they talk about what they've done and all their experience, and they don't talk about the value. They may even talk about some of their accomplishments, but that's not enough. And we'll show you how to break through. You're not always going to get the job, but we can make you more competitive than most other people at the table. We're going to teach you how to do video interviews. A lot of people aren't very good at that. Social media, we're going to update your profile. Now, the Premier, you don't qualify for that. That's the masterclass. You can buy it as an a la carte person. And if you're in this Premier class, we'll sell it to you for the membership fee. We're going to help you develop your value brand statement. Okay. Ever heard of the question, tell us about yourself? That's not a short history of your working career or your life. This is about your personality, your values, and how you can help them. Why should they hire you? And this is the question that's the most mangled first question in all of the interviews, okay? You've got to be ready to answer this. You can get prepared in advance. You can learn it, It should be the strong start to a successful interview, but you have to understand it. We have found that people in interviews that have the value brand statement, and I've worked with, when I was a recruiter, I worked with candidates that came in from colleagues in the career management field that use this value brand statement, or the great Nancy, not the late, but the great Nancy Swain, who created the concept of your value proposition. These people interviewed better. These people were more focused. So that's a key thing that we're going to do for you. We're going to in the plan, you get 3 sessions per month versus the weekly one-on-one. So this price sheet will break it down for you throughout, and you can see definite advantages to buying stuff as a member versus just buying it on the open market a la carte. Then again, here's some of the things. And you could compare it. The blue dots, you qualify for it depending on the package you buy. So I hope that you'll get a chance. We'll be posting this on our website, and we hope that you'll take a look at it. Now, the Masterclass Platinum is $10,500. And people say, gosh, that's just so expensive. You're buying a lot of value. You're buying a lot of help. You're buying a lot of support. You're buying a lot of encouragement. You're buying somebody who's going to be there for you and who's going to stay there with you until you place. If it's 6 months, if it's 14 months. Right now, the average time to place cadence is about 8 to 14 months. So you don't pay any more. You don't pay any expenses. There are no hidden fees in that package. If you have a one-time fee, you'll get a discount, as you see there. And you can also, if you want this, but you're worried about laying out that much money on the front end, especially if you've just been laid off, we can do monthly payment plans for you on a contractual basis. The Premier Gold is $7,400.50. The one-time payment fee is $6,100, but you can get this on a monthly payment plan for 12 months for $458 a month. And that's still a lot of time and a lot of value. And it can absolutely set the stage for you to move forward. It can set the stage for you to advance more quickly in your career. This is a career is not just looking for a job. Career management is not just looking for a job. You absolutely have to take this really seriously. Please, if you don't leave with anything else that you think is valuable, understand that there are already thousands of people looking for jobs, and there are not enough jobs for them. And it's across all industrial sectors, including healthcare. And if you don't believe me, try to apply for a CEO job or try to apply for a COO job. You'll be competing with 100 to 150, maybe 200 other applicants on average. And if you're applying for these jobs online, if they're even posted online, your odds are about 150 to 200 to 1 against you. So we teach you how to get past the bots as best you can. There's no foolproof method, but we're going to give you a lot of strategies and a lot of ideas of how to make yourself more visible. Now, under our membership, Your Career Community, under this subscription plan, you have an enrollment of $450. It's non-refundable. And then you pay $79 a month to belong to the membership to get all the group coaching and access. Okay. And all the levels, with the exception of a la carte, get our daily newsletter. Okay. And you will get substantial discounts off our normal coaching services under this program option. Okay. So that's what we're going to be offering. We're in the process of putting it up on the LMS platform. We're negotiating now with Thinkific to try to figure out how we're going to present this and what the workarounds are going to need to be. Okay, so now let's talk about a related topic that's really important, and we're seeing people struggle in this area now: how to prepare for more intense competition. Now, people say, come on, John, you're just trying to scare us. Or I'm okay. I've always been okay in my career. I'm real strong in my company. Let me tell you something. Things are going to change. Okay. We're already seeing CEOs lose their jobs in hospitals because they're creating market clusters. And so instead of having 5 or 6 CEOs, now we're down to 1 CEO, and the rest of those CEOs are either took a pay cut to be a chief administrative officer or a site manager, or they left and went and try to find a job someplace else. Okay. So the competition in healthcare, in aviation and publishing and services, all of it's getting more competitive. In order for you to be successful, you have to be serious about your brand. You have to be serious about your social media platform. You have to be serious about your health. so that you present well and people don't have to say, God, we don't want to put that person on our payroll. They probably don't have the energy to get the job done. I know what the law says. I talk to my attorneys all the time. But I'm going to tell you, discrimination about weight and how your appearance, along with age, happens every day. It's the most common form of discrimination in the workplace. And let me tell you, you can say, well, I'll just sue. Good luck with that. You could spend thousands and thousands of dollars and have the case thrown out because the other guys have more money and can turn you into knots. If it's flagrant, if it's really easily provable, yeah, go ahead. But a lot of times, this is an impression. The suits are motivated by impression, and it's not a winning opportunity. And if you're a CEO and suddenly it gets around, you sued a client or sued your former employer, I'm going to tell you something. It takes a little bit of the edge off your attractiveness for a future job. So again, we've talked about this already. Continuing emphasis, the market outlook, continued emphasis on productivity with AI implementation will depress management and executive job market for the foreseeable future. I don't think this is going to turn around. Anticipated layoffs will clog career growth prospects. Okay. Now, let's stop just a minute right there. If you read my newsletter yesterday and this morning, you already know that a lot of people think, well, those autonomous driving cars, that's a neat idea, but boy, they just don't work and they're dangerous, and that's just not ready for prime time. Trucks on the highway without drivers? No freaking way. It's not going to happen. Well, let me tell you something. A company called Waymo, a subsidiary of Alphabet, which is Google, has been offering pay rides in San Francisco for a good time now, for a long time. They have now expanded into 3 markets, 100,000 paid rides a week in Phoenix, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And they're doing it with minimal incidences, no more so than, regular Uber or other paid car services. Okay. So how many people drive for a living? 4.5 million people. Okay, now not all of those will lose their jobs, but a significant portion will. Guess where the biggest loss will occur? Long distance truck drivers. Already, it's tested. It's happening now, and most people aren't even aware of it. In 2021, J.B. Hunt tested driverless trucks between Dallas and Houston carrying freight. And their tests showed that they delivered 825,000 pounds of freight between the 2 cities successfully, on time, without incident. And this was in 2021. Okay. This is coming faster than people realize. And people aren't really taking time to stop and say, how can my job possibly be affected by that? Well, it's called trickle up. Okay. When you have fewer drivers or fewer payroll clerks or fewer accounts receivable managers or coordinators or clerks, you have fewer administrative personnel managing paper and HR and all those other levels of any business. You need fewer supervisors. When you have fewer people, fewer supervisors, guess what? You need fewer managers. And when you have fewer managers, you need fewer executives. So it's trickling up, and it is absolutely going to happen. And Mark Cuban, who has done pretty well for business. He started off with about $3 billion, and he's worth now $8 or $9 billion. And he's actually a rational human being who doesn't frequently make a fool out of himself. There are other people that are brilliant, but that are absolute disasters when it comes to being leaders. Brilliance and leadership are not synonymous. Anyway, let me tell you something. He's estimating 3 to 5 years, maybe 5 to 10 million people will lose their jobs, and a lot of these people will not be able to find jobs, in the workplace, because all of the skills they have are being taken over by computers. Where are they going to go? That's a big social issue this country is going to have to address. Internationally, the aforementioned Elon Musk raised it in a presentation in the Middle East before a bunch of sheiks and wealthy people, that at some point globally, countries might have to start thinking about minimum wage payments just to be able to see that their people are fed and that a minimum amount of society keeps going. When you have 10, 15 million people in a country that are no longer working because their jobs have been taken over by machines, that's a significant problem. Now, we're moving at a pace in the US that it's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be affected, but we also have the resources and the orientation to solve that kind of problem through creativity. Now, one of the other problems that people have that's making this worse for their job search, they don't have adequate branding activities. They don't have an adequate social media platform that is communicating who they are and what they can do for clients. There's a lack of adequate strategically aligned networking that will help them grow their careers. And if you're not looking at those things, you don't have those things, then you're going to be at a disadvantage. Okay, now a bit of pro advice today, and I'm encountering people all the time. Do not look at your career through the lens of the rearview mirror. Everybody tends to do that. Why? Because the way I found a job 10 years ago and the way I found a job 6 years ago or 5 years ago or 4 years ago, it's locked into your brain and everybody thinks it's the same today. And some of the basic functions are the same, but it's so radically different from how you do your resume to how you market yourself to the scanners who are going to be doing most of the candidate selection in the future. All of that's changing, and you need to learn this now so that you don't get caught short. So quit thinking about your future by looking in the rearview mirror. How's that? Is that a better way to put it? The other thing you need to do is embrace the zero game mentality in a job search. People say they don't look. They don't look at a job search is that somebody's going to win and a bunch of people are going to lose. That's exactly what it is. If you don't get prepared, if you are not competitive, if you don't work your tail off, you won't be at the final table. And if you don't interview well, if you don't communicate your value in a meaningful, memorable way, you won't get picked. So stop all of that. You can fix this problem if you choose to. But most people say, it doesn't really bother me, or I'll do it later. Hey, man, I tell you, I've seen a lot of good careers get marginalized or cut short based on the altar of I'll do it next week. Don't let that be you. Okay. Now, what do you got to do? You got to have a strong foundation if you're going to compete. It's like, you can't compete against Texas or Alabama or Georgia or anybody else unless you're in condition, unless you have the proper foundation. Okay. So, you got to have these elements. Okay. Evidence of proficiency and relevance. In other words, you got to be qualified to do the job, and you have to be able to show that you've done jobs in the past and that you're relevant, you're up to date. The second thing it is, in order to get picked now, because a lot of the selection of who's going to be considered is going to be done not by recruiters, it's going to be done by algorithms going through LinkedIn profiles left, right, and center. You got to have a strong branding and social media strategy, not just creating a profile. I mean, gosh, that's not even going to get you to first base. You got to have a profile, an appearance, and content that catches that computer. The resume I know people hate doing resumes, they hate customizing them, but guess what? In the future, the resume is going to become less relevant, and over time will be just not even required anymore because they're going to be looking at online platforms. Okay, online profiles. Excuse me. Then you have to have you have to be able to. Let me back up here. Okay, you have to have sustained superior performance. A great coach, a good friend, T.D. Smyers, who was a captain in the United States Navy and really a great leader, terrific leader, was one of the top not-for-profit. When he got out of the military, he became one of the top not-for-profit leaders in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. A really bright, capable, innovative guy. And, when he was going through promotions in the Navy, he retired as a captain, which is essentially colonel in the Army or Air Force. As he retired, every time he was up for promotion, they always focused on sustained superior performance. And that's what you have to focus on as an executive. Now, a lot of times they say, well, that guy's not really qualified to be a leader. He was in the military. Let me tell you something. There's a boatload more accountability for performance in the military than in just about any civilian marketplace. If you get up to a certain rank in the Navy and you don't have a good performance review, your career's over. If you haven't been in 20 years, you're left high and dry. So there's a lot of accountability in the military, and you need to apply that same level of accountability to yourself. You're not going to cut your career short if you have a mistake or if you have a bad year. But if you don't plan, if you don't hold yourself accountable, if you don't measure your performance, you will fall behind everyone else. And then you have to have that strategically aligned professional network. You can't just have willy-nilly contacts. Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? What steps are you going to have to take to get there? And that's how you build your network. So you have to have that strong foundation. Now, if you want to win, here are the rules of the road. Okay? You got to be more prepared than everybody else. It's a zero-sum game. You have to be more aggressive. You don't have to be a jerk, but you do have to be more aggressive in terms of how you manage your brand, how you post, the things you're doing. And you have to play to win. Okay? If you don't play to win, if you're not trying to beat everybody else out at that interview table because you're better prepared, you communicate more effectively, and you have a record of sustained superior performance, you're going to struggle. So you need to do all those things. You need to be the best at all levels of your career. And you also need to be the best in terms of your health and your physical appearance and your level of energy, because that too will mean a lot going forward. Okay, now there are trends that are going to upend the norms. Yesterday, the resume was about your career work history. It was essential to document, and the decisions were made based on that resume. Today, the resume is not just about your work history. It's more about your value. If your resume doesn't communicate your value with quantifiable achievements at every level of with all your places of employment, then you're going to be weaker. Okay. Tomorrow, LinkedIn will be the king, and you'll be putting a lot of content on LinkedIn, including videos, many case studies. You may have a resume that people could download if you want to, but that will be the king in the future. Now, another thing that's going to change, and a lot of people get antsy when I mention this, but YouTube, which is a Google subsidiary, will play a bigger role as video emerges in the job search marketplace. So learn, it's always a good idea. Google, owns YouTube. YouTube is what? It's the second largest search engine in the world. Now, you can post stuff on LinkedIn day in the newsfeed, but it's not searchable. That stuff eventually disappears. Same with Instagram. The nice thing about YouTube is you can post a video about a success you've had. You can post a video about an invention you created, or a process that you've enhanced, or a turnaround you achieved. Okay, it doesn't have to be long, but that now can be searched by employers or recruiters who've heard about you, who've seen your profile, who've run across your profile through the computer, and they want to get more information. So they can go to YouTube, they can go to LinkedIn. Okay, those two will be very big players in the future. Now, in executives who embrace this medium will flourish. Okay, I hope this has been helpful information to you today. This is something I really enjoy doing. If you think you need help in finding a job, we'd be delighted to help. I spent 27 years in executive search, so I know how the game is played. I know what the difference is between a good interview and a fair interview. Let me say this. Most people think that they're really good at interviews. They are not. And I say that with great confidence based on thousands and thousands and thousands of job interviews, executives and managers. Most people are fair, which is to say average. You can't win. You cannot advance being average. Okay? Just disabuse yourself of that kind of delusion. You have to be the best you can be. And so we're here to help you learn how to interview better. We're here to learn how to market yourself more effectively, to create a brand, and to network in a way that's going to be targeted to help you grow. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Be with us tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock for office hours right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Cheers, everybody.